This tutorial will show you how to incorporate text into your InDesign document. I will also show you how to set up your InDesign document. InDesign is a desktop publishing software which is used to create publications such as flyers, posters, magazines and newspapers. The reason that we're using InDesign rather than Photoshop is because this particular software package is used for this type of task to create publications. It gives you greater control over the columns, over the text, over the positions of images. As we stated before, Photoshop is an image editing software. It's not intended to be used to create magazines. So if you open up InDesign, which looks like this, so you can see the frame here is quite similar to Photoshop. We're going to set up our document now. So if you go File, New, Document, and we're going to set the pages to 3. You'll see why in a second. We're going to change the columns to 2, so 2 columns per page, and we're going to change the gutter to 3. We're going to leave all of this here. This is absolutely fine. We want it portrait. We're going to leave the margins for now as well. And then we'll select OK. Now this is where you will do all of your preparation, your work for your contents and your double page spread. So this page here will actually be your contents page. You may wish to increase the columns because on a contents page you may get 3 columns rather than 2. What you wouldn't get is just one singular column. Okay, so we need to show the skill to get those higher marks. If I scroll down, you can see this is where we're going to construct our double page spread. The pages are opposite each other, and to get the higher marks you need to show a high degree of skill in the incorporation of using both of these pages. They should not be treated as 2 standalone pages. I'm going to deal primarily with the double page spread and show you how to incorporate your feature that you have written for your magazine. To do this, there's a tool down here which looks like a T, which is exactly the same as Photoshop. Click on that. And we're going to drag out the box across here. Now you can see that the blue line is our text box and the pink and purple lines are just the guides for the columns, and this will help you with manipulation of your text and your images to make sure that everything is equally spaced on your double page spread. You should have already written your feature in Word, so we should have copied this and we're going to get ready to paste it into InDesign. Once it's pasted into InDesign, you can see that the text is actually going across all 4 columns, which isn't what we want. If you right click on the text and we're going to go to text frame options, you can actually change the number of columns to 4. We can change the gutter to 3. We can also change the spacings or the justification as well. We click OK. There we go. So you can see our text is starting to look like it should in a real magazine. You can't actually do this in Photoshop. So once we've got to this stage, you may also wish to change the size of your font. So highlight your font, and up here you've got the sizes. Remember we said 8 or 9 point, but you can see automatically that text actually shrinks. You must make sure you've got enough text to fill 2 pages. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm actually going to keep it at 12, just to demonstrate the features. You also need to make sure you've selected an appropriate font. Now, think about your reader. They're not going to want to read impact font because it's quite difficult to read. You would save something like that for your headline, for example. What you would see in a magazine is this font here, which is actually called Helvetica. This is a font which is typical in lots of publications, and if I click on the triangle here, we can get different versions of this particular text. So we can get the bold, we can get the regular. I'm going to go for regular. So here we go, we've got our text in there. Once you've got your text in, just in case you want to know where the layer is, if you go to this option on the right hand side of your screen, click on layers, you can see that this is our text layer here. That's really the basics of text. You can add as many text boxes as you wish. So again, if I go to the text box again, let's just hide this a second, and you can drag out a new text box. Just click on there. Going to let me drag it out. There we go, because it needs some space. Now, if you notice there, it wouldn't let me drag a text box on top of a text box there. So you may need to readjust this particular frame, which we can do by squeezing in the sides, perhaps. You can actually add maybe a headline in here. So let's just call this, oops, click on the T, headline. And we'll make that larger. Let's make that 48. I can go back to this select tool here, and what I can do, if I hold down just the edge of the blue box here, I can actually drag that across, and I can drag it into the text, and I can also shrink that box down as well. In the later tutorial, I will actually show you how to text wrap because that's quite an important feature. But there is a text wrap option up here. So all I did, I clicked on there and it says wrap around the bounding box. Now if you're going to do a pull quote, this is how I would achieve that particular effect. So I've created a separate text box, I've put my quotation in there and I've selected this option up here so the text actually wraps around, this is known as the bounding box, around the bounding box. And if I move that throughout the publication, you can see that wherever I snap that, the text will snap around. Other options up here are this one. I don't know if this one will work actually because it's text. I'll make that slightly smaller. But this one here is wrap around the object shape. Obviously there's no shape to this text unless I set a circle around it, for example. I'm actually just setting to the bounding box. And you can actually set the gutter width as well. So let's set that to 3. Okay, so that's how you achieve that particular feature. Okay, so you've got your text in there, you've got your pull quote, you've got your columns, you can change the font style, the font size, and you can also move by using the selection tool, which allows you to drag the edge of the frame and drag it around the page to wherever you may wish to go. Please watch the next tutorial to see how you would incorporate an image and how you would text wrap around that image.